Hi, this is Angie Cuevas. Today we will be talking through the project planning template, grounded in service learning quality standards. This document can be located under the Resources tab in the Service Learning Seminar Google Sites. Please open this document and follow along as we walk through the steps of this process. Welcome to your project planning document. We want to go over this document today and recognizing that this is a fluid document and will likely have multiple changes. On this first page, you will see the project overview. Here is a space where you will briefly describe your project, including a title. This is the fun space where you get to be creative and identifying what your students will do and what the overall service learning project will be. The second question asks you to identify the community identified opportunities your project will address. This is where what your students will be learning will link to meaningful service. On the bottom of the first page is a place for you to identify yourself, your contact information, and the course you will be teaching. If you are wishing to participate in a P16 service learning project, you can identify who your project partners may be. If you do not yet know who your P12 or UNO educator partner may be, you can brainstorm different partnerships. You could identify different classes or grades that you may want to work with. If you would like to talk with an SLA staff, please reach out and they'd be happy to brainstorm ideas with you. At the bottom of the page, you can also identify your community partner organization or your wished community partner organization. If you have their contact information, you can write their name in this space or leave it blank. On the next page, we will speak about link to curriculum. This is where you will identify the learning outcomes, educational standards, and skills you wish your students can apply relating to this project. On the left-hand side, P12 teachers will complete their student outcomes. On the right-hand side, UNO educators will identify their student learning outcomes. If you do already have a P16 partnership, you can complete this together. In service learning, this offers the opportunities for students to learn, train, instruct, practice to become successful in their service learning experience. Remember, as you're working on your project plan, to incorporate the I-PARTY model stages when creating your project. I-PARTY stands for investigation, preparation, action, reflection, demonstration, and evaluation. Reflection and demonstration should encompass the whole project, as it is what allows students to fully understand the curriculum that you are teaching to their project. You'll notice spots throughout this document where you can specifically identify your stages and strategies to link to the I-PARTY model. In the next part of this document, you will be asked to write about how you can integrate diversity into your service learning project. You may consider the mix of students that you are working with, their time, their talent, and their treasures. In the investigation stage, some strategies that you could implement are asking your students to read different text, viewing different medias, maybe interviewing some experts, even sharing their personal observations or experiences. In the action part of this document, your students can implement their plan through direct service, indirect service, advocacy, and research. You may have a conversation with your students about how they could share in this process, knowing what their time and what their talent allows for. In the demonstration and celebration section, demonstration and evaluation, you may ask your students to participate in a written test, maybe a presentation, or even asking your students to teach other students things that they have learned. There are multiple ways that you can incorporate diversity into this process of your service learning experience. The next part of this document is a space where you can integrate student voice. Student voice is an opportunity where your students can share with you how they want to be involved with the service learning project. Some great spaces for this may be in the project and planning phase, where students can identify who their group members may be. Students could also share in the action phase of identifying direct and indirect service opportunities and how they might engage in that experience. Reflection is a wonderful space where students can share their voice with you. They can also create trust with you in this reflection space. Remember, reflection happens before, during, and after. In the demonstration and celebration spot, students may want to share with you how they want to articulate their learning. This could be done maybe in a PowerPoint presentation. Students may create a video. They could also write a paper. There are many ways where students can share with you opportunities of how they can demonstrate the work that they have done for this service learning process. Student voice is an exciting opportunity to learn from your students, to create trust, and create opportunities for them to become engaged in this process. When it comes to reflection, you'll want to consider the different characteristics such as length, setting, and learning styles of your students. Reflection should happen before, during, and after all stages of your service learning process. There are many reflection videos on our website, as well as if you reach out to your graduate assistant or service learning staff, we can share with you different reflection ideas. Some of those could include journaling, art, peer discussions, maybe even different kinetic activities. There are many different ways to incorporate reflection into this process and is a key component for your students to link their curriculum to the experience. On page 6, you will think through how to incorporate progress monitoring and assessment into your experience. Consider how to monitor progress towards your defined student outcomes as well as project implementation and impact. Here you can list your tools of how you will collect data on student progress. Some examples may be written tests, written reports, reflection, and oral presentations. It is important to note that you will only be grading your students on their understanding of the content and not the actual service. On the last page of this planning document, you will notice a timeline. This will give you the opportunity to plan out your service learning project based on the semester. You can include when you may be taking your trips to your service learning project sites. If we are in space together, you might be able to identify the dates when we would work in spaces together online, or even identifying when you would potentially like to celebrate the work that your students have done. This is a great resource to bring to your project planning meeting with your community partners, as you can work together to identify when your students will work apart, when your students will work together, and when they will celebrate the work that they have done together. Lastly, I'd like to briefly touch on the Service Learning Project Expense Request Form. This is a document where you can create a budget for your project. It is an opportunity for you to think through all of the little details that you may need to spend money on. So for example, if you need supplies purchased for this project, such as paper or paints, or you're creating a booklet for an organization, write down the potential amount that you may be spending on this document. For example, if you need a bus when we are all together, that is something that the Service Learning Academy can assist with paying for. A typical bus round trip is about $170. So if you're planning on taking multiple trips, please identify the number of bus trips you may need to be taking. I also want to identify that the Service Learning Academy does not pay for substitute teachers. you would be working with your administration to cover the time away from your classroom if you are a P12 teacher. If you would like to talk through this project expense report form in one of your one-on-one meetings, please bring that this week and we can assist you with filling out this form. Thank you so much for all of the hard work you are putting into this project planning document. We know that it takes a lot of thought and effort to complete this document. So if you have any questions, please do reach out to the SLA staff and we're happy to walk through this document with you further if you need assistance. At the end of the week, please do email your project planning document and budget form to Angie Cuevas at the email listed below. Thank you so much, and we are happy that you are working with us and we're excited to read your project plan. Good luck!